guys, what's going on? It's your girl Shawnell Tillery, the founder and owner of Afro Chick Yoga, and today I am coming to you with a mini session that is not only quick, not only effective, but is sure to bring you a great deal of strength and energy throughout your day. We're going to be going over Sun Salutation A. Now, Sun Salutation, what is that? A sun salutation is basically the way that the body greets the day, or ends it, depending on what time you're viewing this. And it's a series of poses that are basically mashed together to create a sense of flow and a sense of balance. We're going to be going over the salutation just a few times today. We're going to be doing the modified version. We're going to do a halfway modified version, and then we're going to go ahead and do the full out version. Feel free to stay at the level that you're comfortable with. It's going to be mainly an upright standing type of routine, not really hitting the floor too often, but definitely hitting the floor. And we're going to try to get you out of here in 15 minutes or less. So let's get to the mat. So as I said, we're going to be going over Sun Salutation A, and before we get into the actual session, we're going to do just a quick little warm up just to warm the body up so we're not going into the session cold. So if you want to start off with a little bit of neck movement, we're going to go side to side with the neck. Doesn't matter which side you start on, whatever is comfortable for you. And then if you wanted to go ahead and start to bring the head to say no, and then take it up and down, saying yes. I want to get these shoulders involved. We're going to bring the shoulders back a few times, remembering to breathe. And we're going to now bring those shoulders forward. Good. And if you wanted to do a little bit of alternate shoulder action, that's absolutely fine. We're going to bring that movement down to our hands if you wanted to give them a quick little shake. And if you wanted to get the feet involved, moving the toes up and down, going from the toes or the toes to the heels, going ahead to get the legs involved, and as I said, warm the body up. If at this time you want to go ahead and set your intention, even though today's session is a little bit shorter, it's always good to set an intention just to keep you focused and keep you on track. So on your next inhale, we're going to take the hands up and overhead, stretching throughout the fingertips and the rib cage. Imagine sending the tip of the head all the way up to the sky, lengthening throughout the spine, taking another deep breath in, and on your exhale, calm down to your forward fold. Now in forward fold, feel free to go ahead and keep a bend in the knees. I actually suggest that you keep a bend in the knees, just so you can drape the back right on over the legs. And from here, if you wanted to just do a little bit of a ragdoll action, going side to side, just warming up the mid-spine. If you wanted to grab your shoulders, or grab your elbows, just so you're a little bit more controlled, that's fine too. And on your next exhale, we're going to roll up one vertebrae at a time till we get all the way to the top, rolling the shoulders back. We're going to take the hands back up overhead, bring them down to our prayer mode, and we're just going to do a little bit of stretch in the shoulders. So on your next inhale, we're going to bring the elbows together or as close together as possible, right before us in front of our chest. Exhale, bring it down. Good. Give me that 2 more times. Inhale, bring those elbows together, and exhale, bring it down. 1 more time. Inhale, and exhale, bring it back down to prayer mode, and then back off to your mountain pose. Very good, very good. So let's go ahead and get started with our Sun Salutation A. First, we're going to go into the modified version. We're going to go a little bit slower so you guys can follow and catch up with the moves. The second time, we're going to flow a little bit faster. And then the third time, we're going to try to go at full speed. And then we're going to go ahead and end you out. So you're going to come back to the top of the mat. Come into your mountain pose, strong in your stance. Make sure all parts of the feet are rooted and grounded into the mat. We're going to lift up through the kneecaps, send the hip tips down, contract the core, bring the shoulders back to bring the chest out. We're going to breathe in. And on our exhale, let's take the hands up and overhead into our raised hand position. Try to keep the shoulder blades in its sockets. Try not to have them hunched up around your ears. We're going to hold for another breath. And on the exhale, we're going to come back down to our forward fold. Now remember, with forward fold, feel free to keep a nice little bend in the knees, especially if you're working on your flexibility. We're going to hold for another breath. And on your exhale, we're going to come up halfway to our half bend position. You can go ahead and place, back up a little bit, go ahead and place the hands right on tops of the knees and just try to flatten the back and send the crown of the head towards the front of the room. And try to pull your shoulders back from your ears, just once again to keep them from hunching. And on the next exhale, we're going to fall back down to our forward fold. Come down to a point where your hands and the palms of your feet are now framing, or the palms of your feet, the palms of your hands are now framing your feet. So if you have to have a bend in the legs, that's absolutely fine. And we're going to step back 1 foot at a time, coming down and then dropping our knees. Now, if that's a little bit harder for you, just come down to your knees and we can hold this position, or you can bring the hands out just a little bit before you and bringing the elbows back. We're going to come down very slowly until the chin hits the mat. Good. And from here, on the next inhale, we're going to breathe in and just come up halfway to our baby cobra. And on the exhale, bring ourselves back down, chin to mat, come back onto our toes, back up through our modified plank, and then send the hips to the sky for your first downward facing dog. So feel free to keep the knees bent here, especially if you're just working on it or just learning downward facing dog. Make sure that the fingertips has a gripping up under them. And like I said, bring the hips up and hike up, core contracted, and just have a bend in the knees here. We're just going to hold for another breath. And on the exhale, we're going to walk up as many steps as it takes until we get to the top of the mat, back in our forward fold position. Then we're going to take all of that energy, all of that air, all the way up to the top, overhead, connect our palms right above our crown, and take it down to prayer mode and back off to your mountain pose. Very good. So that was the modified version. Feel free to do this a couple more times, modified, or if you want to join me for the fully modified version, we can go ahead and come back to the top of the mat. So coming back to the top of the mat, moving more with a flow, we're going to come into our mountain pose. Breathe in. On the exhale, we're going to take the hands up and overhead to our raised hands. And exhale again, take it down to our forward fold. Once again, feel free to keep a bend in the knees, or if you wanted to begin to straighten the legs, that's fine. Just drape the spine over the legs here. And on the next inhale or exhale, we're going to come up halfway to our half bend, this time placing our hands right on our shins. Still flattening the back, bringing the crown forward and the shoulders back. Exhale, we're going to come back down to our forward fold. Come to a point where our palms are framing our feet, and we're going to step back one leg at a time until we come to our full plank. Now from here, if you want to drop the knees, that's absolutely fine. Or if you want to go through the full plank variation, that's fine too. We're going to tippy toe up, and then very slowly bending back from the elbows. Bring ourselves all the way down, chin to mat. Breathe in, and this time on the exhale, we're going to come to our full cobra. Stretching throughout the belly with a deep arch in the mid-lower back. Exhale, bring it back down again. Come back up through your modified or full plank, and then send the hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Good. Now, once again, feel free to keep a bend in the knees, or if you want to go ahead and work on that flexibility and get to the full variation of downward facing dog, try to bring the heels down as close to the mat as possible, still keeping that belly drawn in, arms straight, hands and feet rooted. We have one more breath. And on the exhale, we're going to walk up to our hands, back in our forward fold, then taking all that energy, all that air, all the way up and overhead. Palms connecting right above the head. Take it down through your heart center and back off to your mountain pose. Very good. So that was the halfway modified version. Now, if you want to follow me to the full variation, definitely do so. But if you're still comfortable and still learning it, either stay at the modified version or at the halfway modified version. So let's get to it. This is the full variation, so we're going to be moving with a little bit more of a flow. So coming to the top of your mat, centering yourself, grounding yourself, breathe in. Exhale, we're going to take the hands up and overhead, stretching throughout the fingertips. Exhale, let's bring it back down to our forward fold. Breathe in and exhale. We're going to come up this time, keeping the fingertips right before the feet, coming into our half bend. And we're going to bring it down. Good. Come down, frame the feet. Now either you can step back. Let me step back. Either you can step back or you can jump back. Coming into your chaturanga, we're going to come down slowly, and this time, let's come into an upward dog with just the palms of our hands and the tops of our feet on the mat. On the next exhale, we're going to flip our feet and send it up and overhead to our downward facing dog. Good. And on the next exhale, you can walk the hands or walk the feet back up to the hands, or you can jump to the top of your mat. Take all that energy, all that air, all the way up and overhead. Take it down to heart center and back off to your mountain pose. Very good. Thank you guys so much for joining me for today's session. Even though it was quick, I am sure it was effective. Definitely comment below to let me know what you thought about it, how you liked it, if it was too slow, if it was too quick, if you want more, also let me know. And while you're at it, go ahead and press that little subscribe button. Go ahead and do that, like this video, as well as hit that little notification bell just so you can know exactly when I come out with another video. I hope to see you guys again. Peace and blessings, and namaste.